Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video I have the latest from the live radar. Run for the latest weather warnings, as we do have an amber warning now issued for thunderstorms across eastern England through this evening into Saturday morning. We've been expecting these severe thunderstorms for a number of days now. We've had warnings issued for a few days, and now today the Met Office have escalated those warnings to amber in some regions. You can see the live radar at the moment. Those storms are forming across northern France and the Channel, and will be heading in imminently over the coming hours. So we'll check out those latest weather warnings. We'll have a look at the latest UKV, looking at the track of the storms and potential for some more storms through tomorrow. Not expecting it to be as severe, but it could be pretty widespread and further northwards and westwards as well. Beyond that, we'll check out the next few days, as although it's not going to be quite as oppressive, and it's been today and perhaps tomorrow, it is going to be a little bit cooler, but still warm, still above average, as we are looking at a pretty consistent spell of low to mid-20s for many as we head into next week. And then we'll look at the longer range charts, which continue to show potentially another spike of heat later on next week, with another push from the south. Again, could be some thunderstorms with that, but at the moment, majority of the runs do have a bit of a drier theme with that potential southerly wind. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe. Now, do start on the live radar. As you can see, we've got these severe thunderstorms taking off across northern France and the Channel. You can see the resolution isn't quite as high, as the radars aren't quite as extensive in this area, so it's not as high resolution as those storms will be once they get towards the UK, but you can see the darker reds indicating some really severe stuff moving up from the south. Now, I've got some thunderstorms further westwards as well, and again, an extension of this up through western parts of England into Wales and southwest England here. Again, heavy rain with some embedded thunderstorms and potentially some severe storms just on the southern tip here. Now, they are moving northeastward, so the warning, as we'll see in a few moments' time, of East Anglia, Essex and Kent, maybe into parts of Surrey and Sussex as well, potentially some severe storms. So although these look like they are going to impact the south coast directly, they are actually moving in a diagonal. So it's really the southeast corner that's going to be impacted by these severe storms here. The ones further westwards, though, those could impact more of central areas. So those are one to watch over the next few hours. But for the amber warning, it's these storms across northern France, which are going to be the real troublemakers. They are going to head northwards over the coming hours, clipping this far southeast, and this larger area of instability is going to turn into a larger area of heavy showers with some storms as we head into the morning and towards tomorrow lunchtime, Saturday. We have seen some quite hefty storms over the past couple of days, as we saw Wednesday night, saw some storms, and we've seen some heavy rain in places, especially the far west, and you can see that here, but we're expecting some darker greens to develop across many central areas over the next few hours. Temperatures today, very warm, touching 28 or 29 degrees. We'll check out those temperatures actually in a few moments' time, but very hot today, hottest temperatures we've seen in quite a while, as we have seen that southerly push, and you can see it's even hotter across France, potentially up towards the mid-30s here. Those are fueling those storms as they head in. So we've got the instability out to the west, the heat to the east, and we are right in the middle seeing these severe storms. It is going to remain potentially this hot in the far east through tomorrow, for it does tail off a little bit through Sunday, Monday, but still 25 degrees is very possible. Now, do head over to net weather, just look at the live radar once again, but we got the lightning overview here, and you can see they're almost into full radar view now. You can see still some of the storms are off the full radar for the UK, but you can see lots of crosses there just on the northern edge of the storms. Those are all the lightning strikes we've seen in the past hour or so. Lots and lots of lightning. So these are active storms, both on that area in the east, where it's really for the amber zone, and even those storms further westwards as well. Now, staying on net weather, we can see the top temperatures today, widely 27 to 29, a 33 seen in Lakenheath Royal Air Force Base. But again, we've seen this over the past couple of months, been a bit anomalous, that station. So 27 to 29, the top temperature today. So pretty much as expected, getting towards that 30-degree mark. Now, do head over to the warnings now. You can see we've got 2 yellow thunderstorm warnings and an amber warning issued as well. Now, if you start further westwards with this yellow storm warning from 2 p.m. this afternoon until midnight tonight, again, seeing some of those showers moving through earlier today, and those will continue over the coming hours. Now, this was issued yesterday, but it's been updated, bringing the start time slightly earlier, as those storms did form a little bit earlier, but it's the same general details. 10 to 20 millimetres in quite a few spots, 30 to 40 millimetres in a few hours, with the most severe precipitation. Now, further eastwards, this is the kind of focus zone for the most severe storms. Just came into force this warning at 7 p.m. and expires at 6 a.m. This yellow warning. Again, we're looking at 30 to 50 millimetres in some of the most severe spots, with some strong winds, large hail, and some frequent lightning as well. You can see it's been moved to medium impact and low likelihood, and of course, the area in east, of course, has gone to amber, and we can see that here, and it's because the likelihood has increased just because we know those storms are going to clip the east coast, but it's how far inland they come. So actually, if you're in London, for example, the actual severity could be exactly the same as the amber warning, even though you're not in the amber warning, but it says the likelihood is slightly lower, and that's why no amber warning has been issued here. So it's one of those where if you are not in the amber warning, you could still see the exceptionally severe conditions in some of these storms, all dependent on those tracks and positioning of those storms over the coming hours. Again, very similar, 30 to 50 millimetres, 40 to 50 mile per hour winds, large hail, and big gusts at times, frequent lightning, all of the classic thunderstorm symptoms. But yeah, just could be even more lively in that eastern portion. And as we head into tomorrow, those warnings stay in force, but we see this larger warning issued for many western areas for much of tomorrow until 6 p.m. And again, that's for this overall area of instability, slowly shifting northwards and just giving lots more heavy showers and a few thunderstorms, but I think it'll be more heavy showers and potentially some persistent rain at times as it's moved northwards, maybe 15 to 30 millimetres quite widely, and potentially 30 to 50 millimetres, even 60 to 80 with a few of those storms as that moves through. Now, if you look at the latest UKV, you can see those thunderstorms forming in the south at the moment. That big severe line of storms in the far east moving through. Already, it looks like on the live radar, the storms are a bit further westwards. So perhaps, again, could be more impacts further inland. And then you can see the large area of rain with a few storms scattered about further westwards, and that will move northwards. You can see some less dark reds in that area further northwards and westwards. So yes, still some torrential rain, but perhaps less active storms as that slowly clears through. And during the afternoon, as the sun starts to strengthen, we could see some pop-up storms as well, just on the southern and western edge of this area of instability through northern England, northern Wales, maybe the Midlands, and the Republic of Ireland there could see some more scattered pop-up storms. That all clears away Saturday evening, very slowly for Scotland, but eventually completely clears, and we're in a slightly fresher air mass for Sunday with more of a westerly flow, but it stays still fairly warm. And this pattern continues through Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday. Not much going on, with high pressure still just nudging in from the south, but more of a westerly flow, so it's slightly fresher, but stays dry, with still warm air masses, and that's why the temperatures are still fairly positive. So you see this afternoon, 27 to 29 in the east. As we head into tomorrow, could still see potentially a 28 or 29 in the far east, but most mid to low 20s as it's slightly cooling off. Same can be said for Sunday, again 20 to 24, and then into Monday starting to jump up again, 25, 26, Tuesday maybe 27, 28, and Wednesday more widely again 25 to 27. So nothing ridiculous as we head into next week, but still very warm, above average, and very pleasant. Generally summertime temperatures. Again, it's very warm at the moment, but it's very humid, sticky with thunderstorms around. Whereas next week, yes, it will be very warm still, 27, 28, but if we look at the dew points, they're much lower. Whereas at the moment, 16, 17 in some eastern areas, whereas it will be potentially only 8 or 9 in those same areas next week. So although the same thermometer temperature, it will feel different out there. It'll feel a bit drier with that heat, less sticky because of the different air mass. Now, if you check out the longer range, again, southerly winds at the moment, and those continue over the next 24 hours or so. More of a westerly flow, but with high pressure more involved. And then as we head into the latter part of next week, we see another push from the south and potentially see another blast of very hot air. It's under more higher pressure though. Still, instability will be around. We'll just have to see if there's a trigger. And generally speaking, it remains warm and potentially hot at times, before eventually the end of this run does go a little fresher and more westerly. But generally speaking, out towards kind of the 26th, 27th of June here, out towards 300 hours, it is hot and fairly dry. If we compare it to the GM, broadly very similar, southerly wind at the moment, high pressure slowly building in with potentially more of a southerly wind later on next week, stays hot and dry all the way out to day 10, but again rumblings of potentially lower pressure trying to nudge in, not having too much success at day 10, but it could have a bit more success in the subsequent days. And finally, if we compare to the latest ECMWF, the full run hasn't come out yet, but we've got up to 216 hours, so we'll have a look at that. Again, southerly winds at the moment, high pressure toppling back into next week, but then again, the risk of another southerly flow developing later on next week. Again, you can see it here at 144 hours next Thursday, another southerly push for, again, a slightly fresher westerly flow pushing in. So definitely more warm, dry conditions to come next week. I think the change towards something drier is going to be the biggest impact. It'll still be for warm and humid at times. And again, we'll just have to see if there's another southerly push as we head into next week. Now, if you look at the latest ensembles, now you can see big jump up in precipitation at the moment. That's those storms moving through tonight, and a big drop off in temperature as fresher air clears in behind that. Generally speaking, average over the next couple of days, but still warm at the surface as we saw in the UKV, and then slowly back to average or above average for the next week or so, potentially again a spike appearing later on next week, next Thursday, Friday, again some going up into the mid-teens for a bit more scatter there into the final 5 days or so of June. But as I said, the big theme there is drier temperature, drier with still those warmer temperatures, and you see the 2 meter temperatures here hovering around the mid-20s, up and down at times. And also, if we look at the dew points, very high dew points at the moment, very sticky, but you can see, generally speaking, the dew points are much lower next week. So yes, still warm temperatures, but with lower dew points, it should, fingers crossed, feel a little bit less sticky as we head through into next week. And finally, if we finish by looking at the latest ECMWF, broadly speaking, again, big spike in temperatures at the moment with that big spike in precipitation. Drop off over the next couple of days, but then very dry next week. And again, another bump in the upper air temperatures as we head towards the latter part of next week. A bit of a stronger bump there around the 20th of June. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed discovering new. And I'll see you again for another video soon.